Well, hey YouTube, Roy Marko with Roy Marko's Garage coming today with another episode of Mike Malaka and his car tips. You may or may not want to do this, but let's go for it.
Welcome to Roy Marko's Garage. My name's Mike Malaka. I've been here before and we're going to talk a little bit about vehicle maintenance. So everybody that owns a car is or should be somewhat familiar with their vehicle maintenance and the intervals required. So what we'll talk about is the most neglected part of your car. Now, 8 out of 10 cars on the road today probably never have and never will have a power steering flush. Is that important? Absolutely. The power steering flush is directly related to how long your power steering rack will live. If you've ever had problems with the power steering rack, the symptoms are pretty obvious. To go back a few years, I had a 92 Oldsmobile, which I bought at 122,000 kilometers. And after I had driven it for a few years, I started noticing some hard spots in the steering, turning both left and right. Obviously, that can be a little bit dangerous too if you go to turn the car and the steering wheel doesn't want to turn. Being a 92 Oldsmobile, I absolutely did not want to put a steering rack in it. So I talked to Roy about what I could do to avoid putting a steering rack in a 92 Oldsmobile. Cost on that steering rack would have probably been approximately how much, Roy?
About $500.
About $500, including labor? Or
No, then plus labor putting it in.
plus labor to have it put in, which have to be done in a shop on a hoist. But what we're doing today, you can do at home with no mess. And I'll show you exactly how to do this. Now, just to tell you, there's 2003 Cavalier just turned 90,000 kilometers. Start doing the power steering flush on it, so I started last week. So I gave it 4 treatments at home, and I never dropped any oil on the ground at all. So what I'll do is I'll get started here. First thing I'll do, got this cardboard box here, used to have a TV dinner in it. Then we'll get this jar. Now I insist that you use a glass jar, not because it's glass. So with this large opening, I'm almost guaranteed not to spill any fluid. Now before I take the cap off, I'll ask Roy another question. Roy, is there a right way or a wrong way to put this cap back on?
Well, if you wanted, I'm fussy, so you'd want to read it when it's on. But it does go on 2 ways, it'll be backwards.
So it can go on either way?
It can go on either way.
Okay, so you prefer to have it on in the normal, in this direction with the steering wheel on the cap, pointing to the steering wheel on the car.
Right.
So the first thing we'll do, you take the cap off, and what you'll do on your car or truck is you give it the old smell test. If it smells bad, if it wipes off dirty on a cloth or rag, then you know that it's time for it to go. And the most important tool that you'll ever buy, you can buy at your favorite dollar store for $1.25. Now, if you're anything like me, you probably carry that kind of cash. This is cheap, this turkey baster. You will wrap some packing tape from the bottom of the ball down into the area of the shaft. And the reason you do that is because after you start sucking oil into the turkey baster, the ball will just fall off. And the other thing that's important is to try not to damage this end, because if you damage this end, because you're going to be poking around looking for the bottom part of your reservoir, which I already know where everything is. All my fluid's clean up to this point. I gave it 4 treatments at home, so everything is good. Treatment to come after, which we won't be doing today. I know where my spot is here. And now, the whole key. So you see I got almost a full tube here. Now what I will do, pull it out and kind of try to lay it down. And then squeeze it into this jar with a large opening because it makes it so much easier. Then I'll go, that's number 1. Number 2, it's almost full again. Deposit it in here. Number 3, and then you'll get an idea. Now you're going to notice that I start getting less. That's number 3, right?
That's number 4.
Number 4 right now.
Yeah, looks like it's coming out pretty clean, I have to say.
It is clean. I checked it, Roy. I have clean fluid. Just so you know, the fluid is the color of the automatic transmission fluid that we're using.
Well, this is basically preventative maintenance if anybody wants
It is.
Yeah, because you're not going to, if you got a bad rack and pinion, it's not going to solve much. But
Well, I had the makings of a bad rack and pinion, and like I said, I bought the car at 122,000 kilometers and retired it at 293. Like I said, I basically drove that car for 20 years, which is not the highlight of my life, driving a 92 Olds for 20 years, but nonetheless. See, now we're starting to get less.
So basically, this is one time, but you've done this a few times, so it circulates through the system, and then you get a chance to clean it out.
Now, make no mistake, you can do this at home in a single day if you want to do this.
Yeah, you just
keep repeating the process.
Yeah.
So you can do it, the whole thing. This is a number 5 treatment on this. I did 4 at home. This is number 5. There are one more to follow, which I'll explain, but I won't be doing today. I'll put this tool down. Just remember, I haven't damaged this end, because if you damage this end, it will not work properly. And I got it taped well, because it will just fall off once you start passing oil through it. No two cars are the same. And if you insist, if you want to lay a sheet of cardboard underneath your car, because say for example, your F-150 might not be so easy to do this with, even though the neighbors can hear you when you're driving down the street with it. Piece of cardboard if you care to do that. Roy, can you pass me the flashlight? Roy, you gave me the timing light.
Oh, yeah, the cordless timing light.
I needed the flashlight and you gave me the timing light. But I can fix that. And I got everything I can get right now, about 95%. Yep. So that's good. Now I'm ready to go back in the other direction. Okay, and by the time I'm done with this car, I will have used less than 2 liters of ATF, commonly known as automatic transmission fluid. Never been one to be comfortable pouring out of a fairly full 1-liter bottle, so you can imagine what I'm like with a 5-liter jug in my hand trying to pour motor oil into the engine out of a 5-liter jug.
Well, the trick to that is you take the jug and you pour it this way.
I will basically, the amount of fluid I need to go in here, I'll pour into this cup and I will have enough. So what I got in this cup will probably fill the reservoir. So I will start. Surprisingly enough, I'm getting close to the top. So I will check, because my cap has a dipstick on it. Now, Roy, I have to ask you another question. The dipstick has 2 marking points on it. Mm-hmm. So what am I looking for? Am I looking for the...
Well, it depends on temperature, basically. There's a cold and a hot. So basically, cool, you'd want it down on the slower mark.
Okay.
And if it's hot, you'd want to run it on the higher mark. And then if it's down there, you'd want to add.
It's okay, so add, cold, and hot.
Yeah.
The easiest maintenance you'll ever do on your car is your power steering flush. And it can be the most expensive if it's left neglected, because as Roy just explained what power steering racks and labor.
Well, and usually you want to do your pump at the same time, because you could have contaminants from a bad rack into pump. So
yeah. Now the other thing too we have to mention, if your power steering system has a major malfunction, like somebody we know, and you have ruptured hoses or lines, this is not going to do anything beneficial to your car except pour more fluid onto the floor. Fluid's so clean it can barely read it. Make sure I put...
And that's why it has to be done multiple times, because once you start it, you're going to have fluid in the system, so that's why there's Sort of a 6-step process.
Yeah, and if you want to do this all in one day at home, basically you do what we're doing here. Let the car run for 10 minutes or take it for a drive to run an errand or whatever. As long as you've been given the steering wheel a little bit of a workout. And whenever you come back, if you want to let it cool off a little bit, you can easily do this whole process in one day. Or if you're lazy like I've been known to be, I did it 4 times in the parkade last week, casually. So we're right up to where we need to be.
Absolutely.
I'll put the cap on. Now when you're done doing what I just finished doing, which I'm not quite finished, I'm all done with the 1 liter.
Yep.
Done with the turkey baster. Time to dispose of the cup, but before you dispose of the cup, you have to take the sticker off, because 7 stickers will get you a medium hot drink or a medium mocha. So make sure you don't throw the stickers away.
This was brought to you by McDonald's.
Yep.
Video.
But if you're one of the really fussy types and you prefer to put nothing but power steering fluid in it, don't let us talk you out of doing that if that's your choice. And you want to use the more expensive power steering fluid, go ahead and do that. And the turkey baster. Now Thanksgiving is coming soon, and you cannot use this turkey baster for any food preparation. But there's another use for this. If you're like me and you know a lot of people, everybody you know has a jack at home that doesn't work. From my small trolley jack to a large floor jack, everybody has a jack that doesn't work. And in many cases, people just that have trolley jacks, they throw them in the trunk of their car, they land upside down, the fluid leaks out of them, and then the jacks don't work. Now here at Roy Marko's Garage, it is not our policy to promote or endorse any products or sell other products. When I get this car home, I might do it tonight, I might do it tomorrow, I might do it whenever I feel like it. What I will do is I will repeat that process and drain that reservoir once again. My preference has always been to go to the white bottle. This white bottle carries 355 milliliters of high-grade fluid. And most of you are familiar with this. It says renewed, worn rack and pinions, guaranteed to stop all seal leaks and hard spots. And the name alone tells you that this is what you want to use. I will probably use half of this bottle in here. So like I said before, if you're extremely fussy and you absolutely regular power steering fluid, then that's up to you. The last car went from 122,000 to 293,000 kilometers just using automatic transmission fluid. ATF fluid will go into your jack. You want to top your jacks up. So this will be going in after I drain that once more.
Well, thanks, Mike.
Like I said, the only tool you need is that $1.25, and let's say if you're anything like me, you probably carry that kind of cash, so that's not a big deal. You can borrow it from one of your kids, but you can't use that at Thanksgiving Day. You have to get another one. And don't even bother trying to clean it. If you soak it in solvent, it's going to melt anyhow. That should be it for now. No words of wisdom. I can put everything away.
Well, there you have it. Tips with Mike Malaka. I'm Roy Marko. If you like these videos, please subscribe. Hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications. Have yourself a great day. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
It's Mikey.
We're doing a video, Randy. Okay, so what I'm going to do.
But I noticed, I'm really surprised you have your...
Oh, that's for later.
Okay.
That basically covers it.
It's ironic that Lucas oil products are good, Lucas film is good, but Lucas wiring, not so good.
Lucas wiring is not so good. You know what ATF means in the States, right?
All too familiar.
Yeah. It means alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Just using the AFT and the ATF. I
can edit all this.
You could edit all that? I've had it right at numerous times.